is Chicago's very own WGN News.
Local homeless advocates are warning about a new executive order from the Trump administration. It aims to give the federal government more power to remove people from streets and to put them in hospitals instead. And joining us now to discuss is Nia Kelly, who's with the Chicago Coalition to End Homelessness. Thanks so much for coming here on a Friday, Nia.
Thank you so much.
Before we get to the merits of this, let me ask you, how would this work? How would it be implemented first off?
So that is still, there's a lot of unknown within the executive order. It provided a wide range of tools for the Attorney General at the federal level, as well as law enforcement and local government, with the goal to remove people who are experiencing homelessness from the street. We're unsure of how it will play out, but mostly thinking about incarceration as well as putting folks in hospitals against their will.
Committing them, essentially,
yes,
right?
Basically. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
yes.
So critics warn that this could lead to people unjustly being locked up here and really does not address homelessness. What is your organization's position on this, and how are you responding?
We believe that this is cruel. There's no other word for us to use in this moment. It is backwards in terms of if we are truly thinking that we want to end homelessness, there are multiple ways for us to do that. We know that folks who are experiencing homelessness, it's not a one-size-fits-all situation.
Or choice?
Yeah, or choice. We know that rents have gone up, wages have stayed stagnant, unemployment is up, and we're in a situation where a lot of people are 1 to 2 paychecks away from experiencing homelessness, as well as when you think about our safety nets around Medicaid, around SNAP, around Head Start, and around Section 8 and other housing programs. We have seen a stagnation in those programs, as well as a cutback from what we saw in the big, beautiful bill from a couple of weeks ago that was signed into law.
We've seen an awful lot of executive orders
Yes.
from this administration here. Can the federal government do this? What do you anticipate happening in terms of legal challenges?
Yeah, we have seen the Attorney General in our state step in often when these executive orders are being signed to attempt to stop them. And so we're hopeful that that will happen in this case. Our governor has been very vocal when it comes to ending homelessness, though we are second in the country after California of municipalities that have passed ordinances that criminalize homelessness and allows for police to ticket people for what they're calling camping outside, but it's really homelessness, leading to fines up to $2,500 over 7 days.
Now, as you assess this and sort of process it, let me ask you, what do you think is driving this? Is it a lack of understanding? Is it trying to find a solution that fits all?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things. I think that we have underfunded homelessness and housing over the last 50 years. The last time we've actually put money into homelessness was during the Jimmy Carter administration. And since then, we have just seen a rollback of services. And I think that people think it's a moral failing for people who are experiencing homelessness on an individual level, as opposed to we have a systemic issue across this country with people being able to maintain affordable, supportive housing and have the things that they need in order to maintain it.
You talked about the Attorney General's response here in Illinois. What do you think will be the real-world impact on the state of Illinois and the city of Chicago?
I think it's a couple of things. I think that what the president has done has provided, kind of put a battery in backs of municipalities that might want to take this step. Like I said, we are second in the nation after California. I think what we'll see is people, instead of funneling money into housing and homelessness services, we'll see more money being pumped into law enforcement, and it will move us backwards from where we were of trying to get people out of institutionalization and back into the community with the supportive services that they need.
And it's already been sort of difficult from your perspective, I'm guessing, because the Supreme Court has already sort of weighed in on this. Tell us about the challenge that presented.
Yeah, so when the grants pass decision came out last year, last night was the executive order, right. We saw municipalities across the state of Illinois, the Illinois Municipal League put out motto language for municipalities, and a lot of them grabbed onto it. We've seen places like Peoria and Danville. We see a couple of places right now that are taking a look at, Arlington Heights was in the news last week because they had one person experiencing homelessness in a very public way, and they're like, well, let's go about criminalizing this. So it kind of just gives people that go ahead that this is the way that we end homelessness, as opposed to thinking this is how you hide homelessness. You see people who are experiencing homelessness in these communities just going into forest preserves or in foresty areas during the elements, like when it's hot outside or when it is below 0 temperatures, and service providers aren't able to find them like they used to be able to. And even if people are on wait lists in terms of, they've been waiting for 6 months, a year, their social service provider may have been able to find them in a very visible place. But once we say we're going to criminalize this, it moves people and puts them lower on the list for housing.
We'll see how all this progresses.
For sure.
Nia Kelly with the Chicago Coalition to End Homelessness.
Thank you so much.
We're glad to have you focused on this, and thanks for being here tonight.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Take care.
Thanks.